Hello, and welcome to the very last in what has been an epic series of Dodd-Aid Live on a Wednesday night, because it's better than Coronation Street. Sorry we're late. I could tell you what happened, but we would be here till about 9:15 tonight, and we're still waiting for the Whistler. And you're not supposed to start without them, but we are going to get going. I hope you have had a very good week. I have, because I was at Murrayfield on Saturday. How'd you like them apples? That was absolutely spectacular. And we're going to talk about it with people much more knowledgeable than me. And we're building up to a weekend in Cardiff, which is the highlight for many in a Six Nations calendar, when Scotland empties and we disappear down to the valleys, finishing up in Cardiff for what we hope is going to be a victorious Saturday afternoon. And there is a lot of dafties getting on bikes tomorrow at Murrayfield to cycle the way there. They are cycling to Cardiff, all in the name of Doddie Aid. Go figure. So tonight, have we got a guest list for you? Very excited as always. It's the last one, and I think I might get teary. So what do? You cheer yourself up and you bring in an absolute ball of fire. I am very excited to see this man, who only found out he was going to be on about half an hour ago, because that's how this thing rolls. I saw him on Saturday at Murrayfield. He was chirping around all over the place. Everybody loves a bit of his time, and I am delighted that he has managed to give us his time tonight. And we're going to ask him about that thing that happened in the tunnel at Murrayfield. Glasgow Warriors, Scotland, the one and the only, Mr. Ryan Wilson. Good evening, sir.
Hello, Bruce. How are you?
Good, thank you. You're looking very handsome as always. How have you managed to play in the back row for so long and keep those good looks?
Oh, mate, it's easy when you look like this. Come on, don't. You're making me blush already. You shouldn't do that.
You are spectacular. Whenever I see you, there's always a crowd.
Is there?
There's always a crowd. You're the flame, and there's a whole load of moths all over you.
No, that's people with pitchforks running after me, mate. Wanting to take me down. Oh, you come back here. And part of that was when I saw you, and you sort of just slipped it in. We're doing a podcast next week. Oh, yeah. Send me the details. Like, literally, send me the details half an hour before. Cheers, mate. Nice to be prepared. So I've got my snood in hand, but...
Nice. And it's a Glasgow snood. What do the boys... Do they talk about training? Are they invested in it?
Yeah, the boys have been invested in it. You've seen some of the games that we have managed to play, obviously, with the old COVID kicking about. We've had them on in the warm-ups and whatnot. So, yeah, the boys are chatting about it. Also, a company I've been doing some stuff with, Wolf Craig. We've got a little league up and running. I'm somewhere down the bottom of that, which is slightly worrying, but I'm pretty sure they're cheating.
Have you not got the GPS all hooked up to it?
We have, yeah. We've got the GPS. It's just trying to remember every day to put it in, stick it in the old the app. So that's my problem. I'm very forgetful. We've got a lot going on. 4 kids back here, Bruce. So it's hard work. But listen, it's been a lot of fun. So we've enjoyed it.
You're a very fertile man, Ryan.
Oh, I am. It must be. With 4 of them kicking around this house. So it's actually quite nice to jump on here. Any chance of doing a podcast, as you've seen, I'll jump at the chance, because it gives me half an hour in here without the kids.
Nice. I love it. Now, Saturday was pretty spectacular. You were there bombing around doing all sorts. What was it Hodge said earlier? Future-proofing, maybe? Was there a bit of future-proofing going on Saturday?
Oh, a little bit of that. You've got to, when you're kicking on a bit. Although I'm not that old. Like, people always ask me how long we go for, and I've got another 8 years in the bank easy. But yeah, you got to make sure you're looking after the bank and getting around. But I enjoy it as well. Listen, getting across the Murrayfield. I suppose the last few years it's been tough for me to go over there and watch, because you just want to be out there. But I suppose it's probably getting away from me. Getting that 50th under my belt, it's a nice round number, so I can park it there at the moment. But I tell you, I enjoyed it at the weekend. It was incredible, wasn't
it? It was awesome. And you've got history. You've got previous at Murrayfield.
You sound like you're talking about my convictions. You've got previous. It's slightly worried.
Well, what I meant is previous success. I mean, we like mere mortals like me can only dream of that. Are you able to appreciate it in the moment, or is it just when you look back on it, or are you still not there yet? Is that something for 10 years into retirement?
No, I think I can appreciate it now. I think the fact that it hadn't been done for 10 years, I think it was back then, was what made it so special, that one at Murrayfield, wasn't it? You know, I've seen loads of the memes kicking about, like, my 5-year-old only ever knows us beating England. You know, so my daughter's the same, I suppose. She's like, Dad, why are they so bad? But listen, yeah, of course I look back and I can enjoy it and think it was special then. But these boys, you know, this Scotland team, they're making it a habit, aren't they? Which is so good to see.
It was awesome. So come on, you can't get away from this. There's people watching and people listening who need to know. When you were going down the tunnel, who blew the first kiss?
The person I was looking to kiss was Owen Farrell, but he wasn't around, Bruce. He wasn't around, and he knows how much I love him. And so, yeah, he wasn't there. And so the next most handsome man was George Ford in the tunnel, who was there and was slightly smaller than me. So I knew I wouldn't get in trouble. And just a couple words of encouragement is how I like to put it. Just to let him know what's coming and let him know, you know, how it's going to be. And the funniest thing is that everyone talks about it and says, oh, well, it was with Owen Farrell. But he obviously knows what's going on. He can see me chatting and he's just as bad. So there he comes, steaming down the tunnel, rolling past Princess Anne, bless her. And yeah, the rest is history.
Do you like that chat? Do you like a little bit of niggle? Is that still something you've got up your sleeve?
Yeah, of course I do. Listen, we've got Munster this weekend, so I've got to have it in heaps. But oh yeah, I've always said this, and you know, we've got Hodge on in a minute, and he'll tell you that when I play, I think a lot of the game's definitely mental. It's up the top 2 inches, and if you can rile someone up, get under their skin, then you can sometimes get the upper hand. And we certainly did that day. It was a good day.
It was a good day. I bet it was. And is that what was it like in the changing room after that when you've created a bit of history?
Oh, what I remember, it was very blurry. I remember, I think, yeah, Nicola Sturgeon drinking out the Calcutta Cup. I remember that one. She was drinking pints out of it.
Was that the same day that J.K. Rowling, HRH, and Nicola Sturgeon were all in the changing room at the same time?
That could be true, yeah, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that would have been it. It all merges into one, but yeah, that would have been it. And
winning Calcutta Cups just all merges into one.
You know, Nick Grigg. I remember J.K. Rowling was in there, and he said, "Well, who's that?" I said, "It's the lady that wrote Harry Potter." He went, oh, "What? That's Roald Dahl." Oh, sorry, once Griggs, mate. Are you having a laugh? And he was like, what? I was like, pretty sure Roald Dahl's a man, and I don't think he's even alive. That's J.K. Rowling. Oh, yeah, mate, that's it, J.K. Rowling. Oh, unbelievable. Roald Dahl in the changing room. We should have just let him go and do that one. He's thrown himself under the bus.
I love that's a new one because I thought that might actually have overtaken my favourite story because I'd heard a story that Jamie Batty offered HRH a drink.
Again, it could have happened. It could have happened. Anything could have happened. You know, your high spirits. Everyone's having a few beers in there. Yeah, why not? Why not? I'm sure she wouldn't have turned it down.
I heard he was prepared though. I heard he'd brought a bottle of Bucky and he offered her a bottle of Bucky.
Oh my! Listen, I was probably off on my own tour by then. I don't know about the bottle of Bucky, but what have you heard the story? Did she have a swig?
I heard Gregor tell the story at a dinner, and I loved that. He brought a bottle and he went into his bag and he pulled it out and said, "Do you want a drink?"
Unbelievable. That's preparation.
He's a top man. I love Jamie Batty. So, what's the prediction for this weekend? Going down to Wales. I mean, we're red hot favourites for the Grand Slam now,
mate. Listen, let's not get too far ahead, but we beat them down there, which is doable. France back at home, which we've beaten the last 2 years in a row. doable at home against France. You back us. We're suddenly going to Italy. Well, there you are. We're playing for the Grand Slam against Ireland over there. And you know what? The way you say it, actually, if you think about it, I'm not joking. Hey, Bruce, I ain't even joking. Get over the line this weekend. And there's all that motivation, obviously, with the Doddie Cup going down there. So we want to make sure we get that one back. But listen, I can see the boys going down there. And again, how many times have you said it? Not much. We're favourites. I reckon we're favourites going down there. I don't want to jinx us. Touch wood and whistle. But I reckon, we'll get a... What did I predict the other day? I think it's something like 29-12 or something like that. Hopefully they shut the roof.
No, it's open.
And is it meant to be raining?
Oh, probably. It's Cardiff. Yeah, it's to be open. It says on my ticket that the roof is going to be open.
Oh, hopefully the rain stays away. It won't be, and it's nothing like it was at the weekend there. But yeah, I reckon we got a good chance.
Nice. So if we get to that point of Grand Slam, is it all bets off and everybody to Dublin, no matter whether they've got tickets or not?
Yeah, too right. Can you imagine it? What a party that would be. Oh my gosh. Actually thinking about it now, I'll tell you the ticket sales for the old flights will go up after this. We'll be rowing over there. That could be the next Dodd-Aid thing. We could jump on a boat and row over there.
Right, before I bring Hodge in, I've got to ask you the burning question in Scottish rugby that everybody wants to know. It's on all the chat rooms. It's all over social media. What do you reckon about Hoggy's hairline and teeth?
Oh, you're going to get me in trouble again after a few things went out. Listen, he's one of my bloody best mates, and people still think I'm being serious when I take the mick out of him. The hairline's strong, isn't it? It's very strong. But he admits that, and he knows he spent a lot of money on it. And you'd hope the amount of money that he has spent on it, like there's only so many freebies he can get. That it was, but the teeth. There's some gnashers there, aren't there?
I'm hoping that we get one of those internationals again where they kill the lights and we just get a sort of blue light round the advertising boards, and all you can see is his teeth like Ross in Friends.
Listen, stop trying to get me in trouble. Ask Hodgie about his teeth.
Right, let's break, because I know you've got some questions for Hodgie. Right, I love talking to you. As I say, you are the flame. So let's bring him in. Hodgie's about to get on his bike, so he needs to get into his bed. The one and the only, the mentor, the stunt double for me, Mr. Duncan Hodge. Look at that kit.
There we go. All ready for tomorrow. It feels like match day. Oh, sorry, match night. I've had a big pasta meal. I've got all my kit laid out. I've got butterflies in the stomach. It's like proper old school, old days.
Vaseline in the arse crack.
Well, it's chamois cream. I think you'll find. We've got to level up.
Gone for the good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, there's no time for excuses halfway down there. You've got to prep early.
All the chafage.
Wearing Melrose kit as well. Stuart Bennett is currently. I think he's spontaneously combusted.
Yeah, Lee Jones, another Selkirk man, not happy. He insted me today. He said, "I don't like those sleeves. Do not like those sleeves."
Don't like those, but you've got a bit of black and white in there, so just tell Benzo it's Kelso. Now, Ryan's desperate to ask you about your autumn holiday, Hodgie.
Oh, Hodgie, I was envious of you, man. When I found out that you were going over to coach my brothers, I was a very jealous man. Listen, that's a job for me, I reckon, in the future. Probably the toughest job on earth, but kit man or manager for Fiji. Oh.
Well, it's one of those. Attack coach for Fiji is not a bad shift. However, when you rock up Madrid sort of 10:30 on the Sunday night and you've got a test match 5 days later, it was a full-on week. But I was lucky that clearly I knew Nico pretty well, Bill Mata, Aroni Sau. Of the 27, 28 guys that were there, I actually knew 5 of them pretty well. So that gave me a bit of a leg up. And look, there was some quality players there. There wasn't much coaching done. It was just getting you sort of functional, getting you managed, and then you got a test match in sort of 4.5 days. So let's go.
Oh, how good! How good! Did you get the hymns now down, Hodgie?
Well, that was one thing. I mean, it was. They're quite a religious bunch. We had a service every night. The way I'm sort of describing it was like a sort of stag weekend with no alcohol. I mean, Nico. These guys, they get up at 7 in the morning and they're just laughing and giggling all day long till they go to bed. They're just so tight as a group. It was really, really refreshing, and yeah, they were a great group to coach. And COVID kind of meant that we were pretty much locked in a hotel for 3 weeks, so there wasn't too many distractions, shall we say. So it was a pretty solid 3 weeks.
Nice.
Bruce, can you believe that he actually thinks that there was no alcohol across
No.
there?
I'm not saying there was none.
What you didn't find will not hurt you, Coach Hodge.
Plenty of carver, though. Plenty of carver.
Yeah, no, we did. There was a bit of that going down.
A bit of that. Lovely. Right, Ryan, brilliant to see you. Before you go, give Team Glasgow a rallying call for the last 3 days.
Yeah, well, I suppose we need. I think we need them. We're at the bottom, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're quite far down the bottom. So do whatever you can. Cheat beg, steal your miles. Make sure you do it. Hodgie, mate, I don't know. Take someone with you that's from Glasgow and just let him do the miles a bit. But mate, all the best for tomorrow. Wish you well, and go and watch the boys do it down there.
Yeah, cheers, Ross. Good to see you.
Take it easy, fellas. Cheers, Bruce.
You're a legend. Thank you, my man. Speak to you soon. We'll give you more notice the next time. Duncan Hodge. How are you, sir?
Very well, very well. Yeah.
Look at the way you've dressed this set, although your arm's going to get very tired holding that phone.
No, we're fine. We're fine. No, I just thought I'd, just get it. It was better than the dark grey background that was there.
Oh, hang on a minute. Winnie Mercer is what I think this means that she's watching from her bed, surrounded by all my cycle kit. Oh, I thought she was going to say surrounded by my cycle kit and Duncan. And like Duncan, all set for tomorrow's ride. Go the Tri-Twits. Oh, also ex-Stow people, Owen Wilkinson and Elspeth McVicker. Yes! Look at that. The mighty Stow. Stow's where would you be old enough to have stopped at the Royal Hotel or the Manor Head for a pint, Hodgie, on the way back through the borders?
We were more Black Bull.
Oh, okay. Back through Lauder.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where we tended to send the ones that didn't meet the standard. That's right. you get up the 68. So talk us through it. This cycle, why, how, who roped you in?
Well, it was. I think it was just before Christmas. Hoggy phoned me up and he said, "What are you doing around the 12th of February?" I said, "Oh, not much. I'll just be sort of watching the Wales game." He said, "Do you fancy cycling to Cardiff?" And I nearly fainted. But once I'd got over the kind of shock of there's no way I can do that, and he told me about it, and look, I jumped at the chance. It's a total honour and pleasure. And the thing with myself is over the last however many years, generally speaking, I've been working weekends. I've not had a chance to what I feel sort of contribute properly. So look, when things go around, you do what you can and you sort of chip in and support in these sort of ways. But it was actually just an opportunity to get off my arse and get on the bike and get down there. And I've taken a fair bit of ribbing on that subject, to be fair, from especially my golf WhatsApp group, who are saying, look, of all the four of you, I've got the most protection in that area, so I'll be fine. But I'm not sure that's the case.
And the rest of the team are pretty motivated, I hear.
Yeah, so Dean, obviously, Dean and Doddie played together at the Falcons, and Dean's a keen cyclist. Craig Joyner and Doddie played at Melrose. Jackie's pretty good on the bike and does a fair bit. And I suspect Carl Hogg and myself are, we've not got as many miles under the belt, shall we say. The only thing I think Craig and I have got is that we are considerably lighter and smaller than the other two. So uphill against the wind, I'm got to be thinking that's going to help me. In my own mind, I'm telling myself that anyway.
So you're doing it as a relay, is that right?
Yeah. And everyone's been asking me about the plan. And as I understand it, the plan is there is no plan. I don't know. Well, we'll speak to Hoggy in the morning, but I think you can strategize all you like, but if someone is uphill against 40-mile-an-hour wind, which is supposed to happen when we leave tomorrow morning, then I dare say he might not make the scheduled 1.5 or 2 hours before the switch is planned. So as one coach told me, I think we're keeping things fluid.
Keeping things fluid.
Plan fluid.
And the motivation is obviously raising pennies, raising awareness, and for your mate, you're all close to Doddie in one way or another, whether it be in teammate. Hoggy's known him most of his life. You've played with him. How does that motivate over what is a bonkers challenge?
Yeah, I mean, I've known Doddie, and I actually played with Doddie's brother, Tom, and their parents and my parents were sort of farming friends as well. So it kind of goes back a long way. But yeah, I mean, it's just great to be able to, tangibly do something and help, and the sort of support we've had. I mean, I don't think we quite know what we're letting ourselves in for. Just pray we get some weather, but the support we've had, and it's really gained momentum in the last 2 or 3 days. It's been fantastic.
So who are you hitting up for money? You've got plenty well-off pals. Who are you hitting up?
No, well, just the various sort of WhatsApp groups, and yeah, no, I mean, I think everyone knows it's a really it's an amazing cause, and it's amazing actually. Potentially until 5-6 years ago, there was very little awareness. Now, I think we kind of all know someone, or there's a tangible connection to, in my case, 3 or 4 people now that I know of, just because of the last 3-4 weeks as well. So it's amazing kind of what comes out in events like this.
Yeah, and obviously part of it is you get to Cardiff, and hopefully it's going to be a pretty enjoyable weekend. Are you going to be able to enjoy it, having sat on a saddle and slept on whatever it is you're sleeping on over the next 2 days?
I mean, I think, the biggest issues we've got are half the cycling time is in the dark. And the dark not only means you can't see where you're going, but it also means dropping temperatures. And the other issue is just lack of sleep. I mean, we're getting in at 1-2 or the 2 mornings, and then you're up at 5 being back on the bike. So that's your sort of issues.
And then you get to Cardiff, you get a shower, and then
yeah, I think some of the sort of top brass, I think they cycle in with the ball. So you miss our sort of Beaumont and Wainwright, I think they're in with the ball, and I think we are sort of get warm, get a shower, get to the game. And yes, I mean, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, the game itself, I mean, I always say to people, anyone who's not been to the Millennium Stadium, you have to go and watch a game of rugby there. It is unbelievable. One, to watch, to coach, to play in. I mean, there's nothing like it. It's an incredible stadium. And the match itself it'll be quite something. Obviously, Scotland, for me, are going down hot favourites. But you've got to expect a reaction from Wales. You've got to expect the crowd to get behind Wales, and that can, even we saw that at the weekend. As soon as it goes to 17-all at the weekend, there was only one winner, with the crowd influencing referee. England made a couple of mistakes, and that's what you've just got to bear in mind as well. But no, it'll be a great game, and as Ryan said earlier, it's a huge game, because then you've got a home game, then you're playing one of the weaker teams. So if they get over this hurdle, you can start to sort of look at another step ahead. But yeah, knowing the Scotland camp, and they've kind of a few ups and downs the last couple of years, and potentially lost a couple of games they should have won. I think they'll be highly focused.
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so. So we've had Ryan Wilson claim the Grand Slam. You're going for the Grand Slam. I know nothing, and I'm saying it's a Grand Slam. So those 3 opinions will do. So come on in, give us a score for Saturday. Give us a scoreline.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be as wide as Ryan was saying. I mean, I think it's going to be a sort of 25-20, 25-22. I think it'll be a fairly tight game.
Okay. I can handle that. I take it you mean Scotland are coming out on top of.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I mean, they just look so solid just now. I mean, even when they were under the pump at the weekend, they've just grown. There's a lot of experience in that team. There's a lot of experience in key positions. At second row, 9, 10, 15. They look a really composed team.
Awesome. Love it. Hodgie, all the best. Get a good night's sleep. Enjoy. I just love it. I'll see you in Cardiff. I will see you in Cardiff.
Well, I sincerely hope you do. After all the dark, I'll look forward to seeing people in Cardiff, let me tell you.
Good. I hope so. Cheers, my man. Great to
All
see
right.
you. Sleep
Cheers.
well. Oh, we've held for Ryan Wilson, Duncan Hodge, and now, yes, that is right. This is definitely not soccer. This is Doddie Aid Live on a Wednesday night. Please welcome the one and the only, Mr. Nigel Owens. Good evening, sir.
Bruce, good evening. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. I am honoured to have you here. Did you enjoy your weekend in Edinburgh?
Yeah, it was a very enjoyable game. Actually, it was quite exciting game, and it was a great win for Scotland. 'Cause the last time I was involved in Cricket Cup, although I was working on the weekend for BBC, the last time I was in the Cricket Cup was in 2018, and I was warming up on the pitch, and I could see that a bit of fracas had gone on in the tunnel just before the kickoff, and I should have known Ryan Wilson was involved in it somewhere. I should have known. But it certainly pumped the Scots up. Was when they came out that game, and the atmosphere that day was absolutely electric. So no, it was an enjoyable game. But I got to be honest, Bruce. When it was that penalty try was the turning point, because up until then I just couldn't see where Scotland were going to win that game. England looked in control, and then they pulled a couple of players off front row and brought Marcus Smith off, and I was thinking to myself, "Woof, that's a surprise," because they're in control here, and then. Once Scotland got that back to equal points, and then the crowd got behind them. I think, as Hodge said, it was only going to be one winner towards the end of the game then. But I think Scotland played well on the weekend. There's no doubt about that. But I think England will be kicking themselves as well. In that moment of madness, and it certainly did turn the game.
Yeah, we loved it. We were 100% confident it was a penalty try, Nigel. We were backing the referee absolutely to the hilt there.
Well, it definitely was a penalty try, that's for sure.
So you're confident it was. Are you able to watch a game? I know you were working at the weekend. Are you able to watch a game without analysing what the referee's up to? Can you just kick off the slippers and enjoy a cup of tea and just watch it for the game, or are you still invested in it?
No, if I'm at home now and I go down the local club, my rugby club or the local working men's club to watch Wales play as a spectator, then I just watch the game like any other spectator there and enjoy it. But you obviously are aware of what's going on and decisions and stuff like that. But obviously when I'm working, then like it was on the weekend, I'll be this weekend again. Then obviously you're focused then on the referee. You're watching the game then as a referee, as well as sort of trying to take in then a little bit about the game as well. So yeah, no, I'm able to sit back and relax and enjoy it. The only problem is when I watch it down the club and the referee makes a decision that they don't like, everybody then is turning around and asking me or blaming me, and I've nothing to do with me. I'm here.
So by proxy, you're guilty.
Exactly. Yes.
You're a referee. You're to blame. I love it. Now I've read your book. I love watching and listening to you. You're invested in a lot of things. You champion a lot of things. Why is it important to be involved with Dodd-Aid?
Well, look, he's a great man, isn't he? And illnesses like that are very similar to other types of illnesses as well. They will touch everybody in some part of their life, whether they touch you personally, immediate family, or friends, or people that you know and very close to. And I remember reffing Doddie, I think right towards the end of his career. I think it was the Borders against Connaught, and then I'm pretty sure I did Glasgow against Borders then on the night before Hogmanay down in the Borders. And Stuart Hogg's dad was actually running touch for me that game, because obviously
Graham's a great guy,
yeah,
brilliant guy,
and Hoggy was there as a young kid, with his dad. Obviously, none of the refereeing has brushed off on him, and Doddie was playing in sort of the end of career, so I did referee him just once or twice towards the end of his career. So and look, I met him a couple of times since then. I'm all recent. He's such a great, brave, and humble man. So anything that anybody can do, sort of, to support is such a wonderful and worthy cause for such a wonderful and amazing person and man is the least that one can do, I think, because, as I said, these types of things will touch us all at some point in our life, and if we can sort of make things better for the future for people, then that's what we should be doing.
And you weren't tempted to hang around in Edinburgh for a bit and join the cycle on the way home?
Certainly not. No, I've done a few things along the way to sort of to help raise money, but no, I wasn't able to hang around and do the cycle. I got cows at home here, which I had to come back to, and work I had to come back to. So I haven't been on a. God, I can't remember the last time I've been on a bike. I haven't been on a bike for years. Yeah, I'm not a big cyclist, to be honest. I used to do a bit of cycling, but no, I'm more of a going for a run. I am, but I haven't been running for a while as well.
You're just chasing cows, though.
Well, yeah, with the Herefords, you don't have to chase them. Actually, trying to get them to move is a job. They're so docile. Unless you've got a bucket and a bit of feed in it to try and coax them, there's no way you're gonna get them to move in front of you. That's for sure. And actually, the players listen better than the cows do, and that's saying something.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. So you're likening them to the front rows when it's scrum time?
No, certainly. The only thing these cows don't collapse. They keep it up.
What's the bit about the game when you're refereeing that you love the most? Is it scrum time and you get a bit of real close chat with front rows, or is it a kick and a little moment with the player? Is it the toss up? I mean, the referee has so many processes to go through throughout a day, from when you arrive to long after the final whistle. What's the bit that's the little magic?
Yeah, I enjoyed the game. I did it for 34 years refereeing since I was 16 years of age, and I still referee a couple of local games now. But my favourite moment was when you sort of arrived, particularly for the big occasions, like when you go to I only did one Cricketer Cup, which is back in 2018. You arrive in Murrayfield, for example, and you go out to the minibus that takes you there, and your fellow officials, and the crowd are all then outside and up along the staircase of the stadium waiting for the teams, and I was very fortunate. They actually clapped and cheered me when I got out, and they actually did at the end of the game. If they'd have lost, they'd have probably booed me. And then from that build-up, getting into the car from the hotel to the stadium, seeing the spectators walk into the ground, the atmosphere building, going out then to warm up, and you feel the pressure and the occasion lifting in the stadium, coming back in, relaxing to the changing rooms, doing final bit of preparation, listening to a couple of songs on my iPod docking station, and then going out then behind the two teams then to the cauldron of noise, into that atmosphere, and standing then for the anthems, no matter where it was, whatever country it was, standing there for the anthems. And then obviously until you actually blow the whistle, because once you blow the whistle for the kickoff, that's it. You're in the game, you're focused. Everything else around you is pretty oblivious, really, because you're focusing on your job. But I love that sort of 90 minutes from leaving the hotel to the stadium and the build-up. That's what I probably miss the most, is that part of it, That was something special,
The buzz and the anticipation of what's to come.
It was special. It certainly, and you never knew, you prepare as well as you could for a game, and I never sort of over prepared, because I'd like to referee a game with an open mind and referee actually what's in front of me, rather than go in with any preconceived ideas, who's strongest, who's weakest, who's going to do this, what player tends to do this. I just go in there with an open mind, referee what's in front of me, and the anticipation then, I think you just don't know what's going to happen, my motto for a game, I always told my test judges before leaving the changing rooms, I always said to them, boys, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And that's what I did every single game.
I love it. Now, one of the things that I sometimes think's missing, referees never get to be at home.
Well, you do when you retire.
You don't get to. So you're a singer. You've got a great set of pipes. Are you tempted to join in with God Save the Queen and Flower of Scotland? You must just wish you could belt out your Welsh anthem in front of a capacity crowd.
Well, I wouldn't say I've got a great voice, but I get by singing after a few pints of the club for a sing along. Yeah. Do you know, actually, this is a true story. I went out to, and I love my singing. I love music. I love singing. And I love, when the anthems are sung in the stadiums. And I was out in Treviso in 2002, I think it was, for my first sort of major tournament in World Rugby, or IRB back then, which was before it went to under-20s, you had the under-19s World Cup and under-20s World Cup, and then the Senior World Cup. And I was out there 2001 or 2002, 2001, I think it was, and for the under-19s tournament. What was the captain of Scotland now? He was Hogg. Hogg, he was as well. Alistair.
Ali Hogg.
Ali Hogman. He was a captain then. And I remember lining up now. I did the semi-final, France-New Zealand. Sorry, I did the semi-final, South Africa, New Zealand. Oh, what a game that was. Luke McAllister was playing 10 for New Zealand. He was absolutely a different level. And I was doing then I think it was the 5th against 6th playoff position between Scotland and England at the Calcutta Cup. So I'm standing there now, my first time now in a game, pretty much, where anthems are being sung in that tournament. And I found myself starting to sing The Flower of Scotland. And my touch just goes, that nudges me. Colin Saunders from Wales, my touches. He nudges me and goes, "Hey, shut up, man! You're not supposed to sing it." And I just got carried away in it. And you do get carried away sometimes in it. But I've been very fortunate, Bruce. I refereed Wales against the Barbarians back in November in 2019. So I was able to blast out my Heimlad Vanade in a full Principality Stadium that day, and it is something. I think Hoggy said earlier, it's something special when you are Duncan Hodge said earlier, when you're at the Principality Stadium, for a Six Nations game in particular. Oh, it is something special.
Yeah, I get to go to my first one this Saturday. I'm very excited. I can't wait to hear
you're going to love it.
pipe up. I'm just desperate to hear those.
And do you know what? Do you know what as well, Bruce? The Welsh people will join in and sing The Flower of Scotland as well.
Well, they really...
a lot of them will. So you can prepare for The Flower of Scotland to be sung pretty much as it would be sung in Murrayfield, nearly. That's what it'll be like in the Principality Stadium on Saturday.
It'll be better though, because the Welsh are better at singing.
Well, let's hope we're better at rugby on Saturday. That's all I can say.
I'm going to meet the team Dragons that are cycling down from Murrayfield to Cardiff later on. Jarvis and Popham and Copsey and who else am I missing? Ian Goff. They're currently tucking into a curry just to get some loading in before they come down. What's the magic about rugby in Wales for anybody that's watching or listening that's never been to Wales? Where does rugby come in the Welsh consciousness?
Well, since you're a kid, really, it's you're brought up in it, because the rugby clubs in Wales were built up around sort of the small communities and villages, particularly around the sort of industrial villages of South Wales and in North Wales as well, but particularly in South Wales. So it's not just a rugby club and a game of rugby. It's who you are. It is your community. It's your club, your village. It means everything. Whether you play it or just support it, you are part of it. And you're brought up in that. And obviously, then when you were brought up in Wales back in the sort of, like I was brought up in Wales in the 1970s. And if you want to imagine what being brought up in Wales was like in the 1970s, then well, come here now. Nothing's changed here. So you're brought up in it, it is a religion, really, and it touches everybody because of the close-knit community of it. It's not just somebody. It's not just going to a sporting club to participate in it. The sporting club is who you are. It's part of your community. It's an integral part of it. Now, some smaller villages in Wales then they won't have a rugby club. They'll have a football team maybe because the population of the village, maybe there are not enough people there to play rugby. So these little small villages are very different. But rugby, particularly when it comes to international rugby and Six Nations, the country gets behind it. It is something very, very, very special. And we've really seen, over the last sort of decades, and particularly during the last 2 years of COVID, how it pulls people together. It is a heartbeat of so many communities here in Wales.
I love it. And when I see international players and British Lions who still have a connection to their small town club or their village. Stuart Hogg's been back to Hawick. His brother Graham's the development officer at Hawick. His old man is still a pillar of the community. You're frequently at your club and you're picking up the whistle to do those games. what's it like? You've just said the 90 minutes before you arrive at a test match gives you a buzz. What's it like getting down to a Welsh game in the village?
I went to do a Q&A in Pencoed Rugby Club. I'm going back now, probably 7-8 years ago. Myself and Dan did it. And before we did the Q&A then, it was part of these Worthy Wednesday things they did. We were asked to go and meet the under-12s in Pencoed to do a Q&A with them before we did the adult version an hour later. So we went to do it and chatted away, and the coach of the under-12s came to me after we'd finished, and he said, we're playing a Welsh Cup game against Cwmbran in about 4 or 5 weeks' time, with only 2 unbeaten sides in Wales at this age group. Would you mind coming along and refereeing the game? And I won't say anything to the boys until you actually turn up. It was a little bit of a nice surprise to them. And I said, well, look, it's a European Cup weekend. I won't know my fixtures, I think, until another 2 weeks, because they weren't doing the fixtures until they knew what was what and who was playing who and what was on the games. So give me a ring in about 2 weeks' time. I should know my fixtures by then, and I can let you know then because if I'm going to be out in France and not back till Sunday or Monday, then the game on a Sunday, then I'm able to do it. So anyway, my fixtures came through. I was doing the pool game decider up in Welford Road between Leicester and Ulster, 6 p.m. kickoff live on Sky on a Saturday night. So they rang up and said, Nigel, can you? Or I said, look, I'm up doing Leicester and Ulster on the Saturday night, but I tell you what, we usually stay after the game and come back the following day. Only because Derek Bevan was my test judge, insisted on staying and having a few beers, and we always did that. So I said, look, I'll come back straight after the game. It means I probably won't be home much before 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Could you put the kickoff back to around midday? Because kickoff was supposed to be like 10 o'clock. He said, yeah, no problem. We put it back till sort of midday. So I got to Pencoed. It's about 45 minutes away from here, just beside Bridgend. So I got to Pencoed now and just ref this. It's a hell of a tough game, and Ulster actually turned them over in Welford Road. So I got to the change rooms, went in, and then, do a bit of fuss then. Can you see your boots, boys? And, and the players are going, oh, my God, it's Nigel Owens. He come to ref for a game. And, are you refing this game? And I said, yeah, I'm refing the game. Let's see your boots then, and go around the change rooms now. And I went to this, in the corner of the change rooms, was sitting with his sort of feet up on the bench, his knees sort of, under his chin like this, was one of the smallest players on the team, was the winger. And as I went to see his check, I said, yeah, boots, sir. He said, he stuck his boot out and he said, I'll never forget this. He stuck his boots out and he said, I hope you're going to referee this game better today than you did last night. I thought to myself, you know what? This is what it's all about. This is what makes rugby so special, and I thought, this kid doesn't care who I am. He doesn't care that I refereed a deciding game in the pool game, in a packed out Welford Road on a Saturday night. All he cares is that I do the job on the day for his team, and that's what it's all about. And to me, that is one of my most memorable memories and one of my favorite moments in all the sort of years I've been refereeing.
I love it. Now I know, Nigel, you're a busy.
I penalised a little bugger then 3 times in the game.
What do you penalise a winger for? Come on, man.
I found something, don't you worry.
You're a busy man. I know you've got other things to be doing. There's one question I'd like to ask. Which player do you think should take up the whistle?
You just had him on.
Ryan Wilson.
Yes, because every time I refereed him, he thought he knew more than me. On occasions, maybe he was right. So, yeah, give Ryan Wilson the whistle.
Yeah,
and I would gladly come along and run the touch for him.
I reckon that is something that could happen for Doddie. We could have a Doddie game where Ryan Wilson is the referee and you can run touch. Oh, there's somebody appeared in the mirror. They can't. They don't know we can see them. Over your right shoulder. There's somebody in the mirror. Oh, yeah. Quick. Okay, Nigel, lovely to see you. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you.
Pleasure, Bruce. All the best.
Thank you, my man.
And Doddie as well. Bye-bye.
Oh, he's still there. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Absolutely love it. What a man. What a man. So how do you finish? How do you finish the last show of Dodd-Aid. We've had Ryan Wilson and Duncan Hodge. Ryan, Glasgow, Scotland, Calcutta Cup, Hodgie, Calcutta Cup winner. We never even spoke to him about winning it himself and scoring all the points in the hellish rain at Murrayfield, who's about to get on his bike and cycle all those miles from Murrayfield to Cardiff. How do you finish? You bring on the boss, the one and the only, Mr. Rob Wainwright. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are we doing?
Good. That looks like a special snood. Is that the boss snood?
This is the Doddie 500 snood. So, just fresh off the printer today.
And is that only for cyclists?
That's it. There's 150 for crew as well. 160, I think we've got. So they're on their first brief outing, 2 days worth of work, and then they're done. So
nice. They'll be ready for a wash by then. Are you excited for this climax?
I am. It's been a long day getting everything ready. The WhatsApps are pouring in. The phone keeps. Alex Popham keeps ringing me when I'm waiting to come on to you, and I have to log out, log back in again, etc. But looking forward to it. It'll be nice just to switch everything else off and get on the bike and ride.
And are you doing the whole thing?
I'm setting off to do the whole thing, but if I don't manage the whole thing, I won't be upset. I may climb in the van and do a couple of hours sleep at some stage so that I can enjoy Cardiff, because it's I've not been in Cardiff. I don't think I've been in Cardiff since I retired as a spectator at a Scotland game. So I am looking forward to getting down there.
Excellent. Look out, Cardiff. Wainwright's on the rampage. I got a message today from Lass Wade Rugby Club to say, would I like to speak at their dinner with Rob Wainwright? And I thought, oh no, not again. Not again. Look at this. Ian White says 12 London Scottish riders have gathered already, waiting for their departure tomorrow. Nigel is such a legend. We agree, Ian, and all the best to London Scottish riders. Rob, people are scared when they see your name come up in the display on their mobile phone. How is it that you've brought such terror to so many?
I don't know. It didn't really work this week, did it? I filled the roster up for this, and then I invited them all into the WhatsApp group, and they all went, I didn't say I'd do this. And then Nigel there, all very smooth Nigel coming on, but we've been hunting for him. He left his mobile phone down where there's a signal. I don't know where his farm is. You know where his farm is?
It's in Wales. Who knows?
It's in Wales. Well, I'm going to be very acquainted with the back streets of Wales by Saturday morning. So I don't know if we're going past him, but this week's was particularly beautiful as we filled we invited the people into the WhatsApp group, and they all said, what am I doing here? I never said I'd do this. And so we have a whole new roster. So everyone came in as a late replacement, but amazingly, we'd been chatting, and you'd said, how about Nigel Owens? And I was walking into Murrayfield, and you get that choice. I've got a West Stand seat. Am I going to go through the East Stand turnstiles because it's a lot easier? Or am I going to walk along the side of the railway line there? And I was walking along between the railway embankment and the fence with all that, before an international game, it's full of caravans and lorries and everything.
Yeah.
And there was one real American film star, caravan, but it wasn't a caravan. It's one of these ones that goes on the back of an articulated lorry. It's massive, and it's got its two legs down at the front. And it's got a massive, lorry joining thing, and it looks very showbiz. And I'm looking at it thinking, I wonder who that's for. And the door opens, and out steps Nigel Owens. And I don't know. I've never met Nigel Owens before, and it was just perfect timing. And I was walking past, and I said, "Hello, Nigel." Oh, hello there. And I had my snood up, and he hadn't a clue who I was. And I said, "Oh, hello, it's me, Rob Wainwright. Would you like to come on the Bruce Aitchin's podcast on Wednesday?" He said, "Send me an email." And anyway, here we are. It happened, didn't it? But it wouldn't have happened but for me admiring his. I don't know if that's his special,
I
rock and
reckon
roll
that's how he rolls.
caravan.
That's how
Do you
he
think
rolls.
It was probably towed up from Wales behind a tractor, wasn't it? So
he's a fellow farmer like you, and you've got all these people doing this cycle. You've got so many people doing this cycle.
I know it's well, in the past we've done it all, and we've had to do all the fundraising ourselves, and it was one of these little, wouldn't it be a lot easier? Not everyone's going to want to do 500 miles in 2 days. That's a pretty stupid thing to do. And we've got a number of specialists who are downstairs. We're getting grief from Vipond here. He's doing about 8 miles, so we'll just ignore his comments.
He's worried. On Saturday, he said he thinks he's bitten off more than he can chew.
Well, we've got some, we've got a big London Scottish team, 10 or 11 riders. We've got lots of fours. It's mainly 4-man relays, and it's accessible to everyone. We've got the try twits. We've got to be very careful how we say that.
Yes.
From Dollar, and we've got a couple of girls teams, and huge mobs of people. Some who have only recently climbed on a bike. My eldest son Dougie has been manically cycling indoors on a turbo for the last month, and is confidently saying that he's going to be able to do the whole thing. He's not cycled outside yet, so there's going to be a lot of shocked people out there. But everyone's talking about the weather being bad. I think we've got out of jail here. I think I think the weather's not going to be too bad. There we go. Vipe on.
He's not happy. He's not happy. He's having a crack. Rob, we've got a few people to award some genius to because they've done so well over pretty much the month. The social media guys who have done such an amazing job have collected up some names, and we've got some winners. So hopefully we're going to be able to flash these up here, and each one's got a bit of a story to tell. So our South winner, who has just been unbelievable, Malcolm Wright. Look at this, over 1,000 miles. That is pretty spectacular from Puffin Cycling. And John Smale, who is getting a lot of love on Twitter because he's taken so many stunning pictures of the Scottish borders with his south snood that you can see around his neck there, and his son has given him a bit of inspiration as well. So John Smale and Charlie and Jason from Genius don't know this, but both of those guys from the south are getting a 12-pack.
And I think one of them may be in the support crew for the Selkirk team.
John Smale is going with. He's been supporting all the Selkirk guys around their cycle. So John is going to be there. So you'll get to see him, and hopefully I'll get to meet him in Cardiff. So well done to Malcolm and John. Fabulous efforts from both. North and Midlands winner. Go for it, Rob.
Just a quick one on that, because Selkirk have done an amazing fundraising for their ride. I think they're placed second in the team fundraising. They're well behind the Ruthin boys from North Wales, who raised a staggering 30 grand or something like that. They've done amazingly. But Selkirk are nipping at their heels, and the competition is the team that fundraises the most comes on the pitch with the core riders for the pre-match presentation. So we've had a couple of the people that are nipping on the heels, putting the word out to Scotland saying, do you want a Welsh team to be going on the pitch for Doddie-Aid, or do we want a Scottish team? So,
right, somebody for Selkirk,
get your wallets out.
Somebody for Selkirk, post the link, please, in the comments on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and all the other places. Let's get the Selkirk team on the pitch, because let's face it, since John Rutherford, nothing good's come out of Selkirk. So come on, get on with it.
and Angus Soft Roots, they're nipping tuck those two teams. So the question is, do we divide? Do we say support your local one, but let's get the money up?
It's all about Team South, Rob. It's all about Team South.
It's about Doddie, the Doddie 500. There we go.
Iona's giving me a bit of grief. Sorry, Iona. Sorry. We love it at Philip Hawke. I promise. From North and Midlands, the winner, David May, now this, what a silver fox. Look how good David May is. That just proves that exercise is good for you. That looks like he's modelling for the Saga catalogue, or for, is it Gant? That could be a Gant shirt, I reckon. David May lives in Brecon, 76, and he's covered more than 300 miles this year. And he was taking part last year, and he did a bit of running last year, but most of this year has been walking. David May, you're going to get some Genius to enjoy, and you'll be able to sup that while you watch Scotland claim a Grand Slam.
And that's almost 8 miles a day he's been doing. That's incredible, isn't it?
That is very
no wonder
impressive.
He looks so healthy. So.
And the Babas, Team Babas winner is Norman Tyne. Now, he has been all over social media posting his pictures out and about, 400 miles. And he just loves being down at the docks. So he's down on the Tyne River, I think. And he likes to take pictures of the boats, and he's out on his bike, and he's got his snood on, and he's doing great things, spreading the word. So well done, Norman. That is a spectacular effort. 429 miles.
That is fantastic, and it's just been so uplifting to see the miles people are putting in, but the photos as well. You know, Scotland. Obviously, he's down in Newcastle. He's managed to make it look beautiful down there, but we've had some amazing pictures of Scotland. Particularly with the snow we've had in the last week, the pictures coming out of Selkirk have been amazing.
I saw Tukes had a picture today of cycling in the snow. That is dedication. That was his last training run, I think.
Oh, he's obviously left his taper late. I've done one ride in the last 4 or 5 days, but I've been all over the shop. So.
You're a machine. You are a machine. Team Edinburgh winner is Sky. Look at this. I love this. So Sky, don't worry, people. Sky won't be getting the Genius, but the mum and dad will definitely be getting it. Sky reached her Dodd-Aid 50-mile target with a few days to spare. Not bad for a 2-year-old. Biked, scooted, run, walk, and some of Paul's videos of Sky on social media have been stunning. Absolutely beautiful. Scooting along on her way to, I think it must be nursery or daycare or wherever it is she goes. Super proud, no doubt, Dad. So well done, Sky. You've earned mum and dad some Genius, and that is such a good picture.
And who better to give it to than Paul, who's got his own story to tell. He was an award winner at the dinner back at the end of last year, and he's an extraordinary man. And what a huge fundraiser he's been for MND Research. Obviously, with a family history of it in his family, sadly, but great to see some wonderful pictures. And I think this is the beauty of social media, isn't it? And here's the queen of social media just posting there, Morgan Mackenzie.
She is
queen
quite
of the North
a lady.
Midlands.
She is quite a lady. She has, and look at the profile picture, stunning. Well done, Morven. You'll get some credit later, don't you worry. And then our last winner, Glasgow. It's nice to know that Glasgow were taking part. Our winner was Helen Martin, 500 miles. Zwift, all sorts, and taking the dog for a walk. And I think I did see a picture at some point that the dog had the snood or had the collar on. So well done, Helen. Well done to Team Glasgow. Helen, if you've done 500 miles, I reckon that's a quarter of the Glasgow total. So well done, Helen. If it wasn't for you, I don't know what would have happened to Glasgow.
Next year, Glasgow are going to bounce back, aren't they?
So I've upset Selkirk and Glasgow, and you've had a crack at Newcastle. Rob, it's been a phenomenal 6 weeks. We're almost there. Are you looking forward to the finish line?
I'm very much looking forward to it. It's been, the last few days have been mental, which is mental in a good way. I've been fielding calls from TV researchers and radio people, and tomorrow morning we've got the BBC, we've got STV, we've got Sky there, we've got 5 Live, we've got, we've really, we work hard. It's a big challenge, and we hope it's going to pay off. And it's easy to get money out of friends and friends of friends, but if you really want these things to take off, you need to just capture the public imagination. So hopefully we can do that. And we, the press and the media have been right behind us, which is amazing.
So you need me tomorrow then? BBC, ITV, Sky News. You need me then? I take it, yeah.
Your break hasn't quite come yet, but
Okay.
you're so nearly there. I know
Yeah.
Doogie was a bit abusive earlier on because he's nervous about his New Year gig, isn't he?
Yeah, you wound him up though. That was you. You wound him up. You told him that I was going to be doing New Year, and now he's not talking to me anymore.
Maybe you were on a different channel. Maybe he was BBC and you were going to do STV's New Year.
No, I'm definitely a BBC kind of guy. I'm not doing the adverts. I'm not doing the adverts. Rob, it's been a phenomenal effort. It's another ridiculous event that was in that head of yours somewhere, and you've churned it out. You've come up with all sorts of ideas. You've got an amazing team behind you. As we get close to wrapping up, what's your final message to all the people watching and listening?
Well, there has been a huge amount of work done by a lot of people, and none more so than 4 people I want to highlight. And when we were looking at the prizes for this week, I was going to suggest this, but the district social media, enablers. Obviously, Morven set the bar last year, and she continues to be a huge force of nature. But yourself, Bruce, you've been amazing. For Edinburgh. Oh, I mean the South, sorry. And you've done a great job for the South. And getting the flag up down in, on the Council building down there has just been fantastic. And my sister's still wondering if it's going to be at Moss Ball by midday tomorrow. I don't think it is it?
I've been blanked. I have asked. Yeah. I've been blanked.
Maybe Moss Pool's just too far for them to move it down. But yourself, we've got Richard Ellis. Obviously, he's done amazing things for Edinburgh. View from my camera, a massive round of applause for him. And he's coming as crew with us down to Cardiff. So I'll be seeing lots of him. In fact, he's downstairs not drinking beer while everyone else is getting their final fueling. I know that Brewdog's had a bit of a bum deal from the BBC, particularly recently, but they've sponsored us very generously. And downstairs, they're giving us a lovely meal. And there's about, you would not believe how many beer taps there are on the wall in this place. It's unbelievable. They've just got numbers on them, assuming. There's about 30. So we're having a great time, but Richard's not touching the drink. And then the back bar boys, Rory Hamilton over in Glasgow, and everyone else has helped just make the whole thing happen. And of course, Alex at the foundation, Ian Fraser, my Doddie Gump pal, who's also, they're both downstairs. They're coming on the challenge in the cars. So, and you know, I don't like to pick people out to say thank you because so many people have done so much, and you just come away thinking, oh, I should have said so and so and so and so and so and so. And so many people have helped. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone that's taken part. And my final request would be follow our journey. Hopefully, it's not too bloody down to Cardiff. And if you've got a couple of 5p pieces, just sponsor us once more, and let's see where we can get to. I'm not sure we're going to reach 1 million this year, but you never know what could happen in the next 2 days. Never say never, eh?
Oh, Rob's got something up her sleeve. Lorna Duncan, I hope you're not referring to me. I hope you're not saying that I was the bad dad jokes. I'll be a little bit hurt if that's me you're digging at, Lorna Duncan.
No,
Rob,
it's not you. It's Chris Hoy. Chris Hoy's the bad dad.
Oh, good. I'm pleased.
Yeah,
I'm pleased.
yeah.
That's fine. I can handle that. Rob, thank you so much. It's been absolutely spectacular. Good luck with the cycle. I hope it goes well. I look forward to cheering you on when you get onto the pitch, and I look forward to hopefully as well seeing you in Cardiff if you're still in decent nick.
10 o'clock, Cardiff Castle will be there. There'll be a slab of Genius to be broken into, a bit of celebrating before we fall asleep. So,
it's going to be a great day. It's another step towards the Grand Slam, my friend. Another step towards the Grand Slam. Good to see you, Rob. All the best, my friend.
Thank you.
Gotta love it. Well, it's been one hell of a ride. Kind of emotional, huh? Sad it's going to be over, but glad it happened. Thank you very much to all of you for all your efforts, whether you've been out and about on your bike or running or swimming or doddy dooking, walking your dog, rowing, whatever it's been, running cycling the world, running around. It's been absolutely spectacular. Tuning in on Wednesday night, thank you very, very much. I have loved it. Thank you, Gail. And to all the social media teams that have been on the WhatsApp groups, to Morven, to Richard, to Sean Phelan, to Rory Hamilton, brilliant, to Robin, to Ian from Doddie Gump, to all the support at the foundation from Alex and Jill at the very top, and to all the other supporters, Jason and Charlie at Genius for supporting the prizes. Thank you very, very much. It's just lots of love, lots and lots of love. Thank you to Sam, who's been pushing the buttons and pulling the strings, and thank you to Sean, who's been helping along the way, because without them, these Wednesday nights would not have happened. They both have their own social media and their podcasts going around. Sam is over in 80 minutes. You can check him out on social media. And we've got Sean from Fill Your Boots. If you can, please give them a listen, give them a follow. Great supporters of the foundation, great supporters of Dodd-Aid, and I'm sure they would appreciate it. And some guy called Happiness is Egg-Shaped. I tell you what, Doddie Weir is the focal point. We get that. But it's the foundation that we're helping. It's the people that are affected. It's their families. Remember, it's not incurable. It's just underfunded. Last year, we hit the million. We are not quite there, but there's still some time to go. So if you can, yes, get out and about. Yes, go and do further. But if you can, dig deep, get somebody else involved, buy them a snood for Valentine's Day. Do something that can get a few more pennies in the pot, because I would like to do us out of a job. Let's get rid of Doddie Aid because we found a cure. Doddie hasn't been with us, but he's been with us in spirit. He's watching along, and he is very, very pleased to see not just the money and the awareness that's been raised, but the fun people are having while they do it. And that's the key. Let's have fun. Let's stick together and let's be part of this thing. I am absolutely done. I cannot wait to get to Cardiff at the weekend and see some people and watch some rugby. And this is going to be a special year, because you heard it here. Scotland are going to win the Grand Slam. We've spoken to some incredible people way back at the start of January. It feels like a long, long time ago. But you've been here every step and stroke and pedal strike away. My name is Bruce Aitchison. My happiness is egg-shaped for the My Name is Doddie Foundation. And I think I might see you next year, but hopefully I'll see you a lot sooner than that. All the very best. Stay safe. Come on, Scotland and Wales. Love you very much.